Hello and welcome to the Watson Weekend. This is your weekly dose of e-commerce entertainment. I'm your host, Rick Watson.
Hey, it's Jessica Liseski, and just apologize in advance. Flashing lights is a real thing. A heart goes out to everyone dealing with the hurricane in Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia. We are just getting some rain, and it's a little dicey over here. So we're going to make this a quick in and out show because I could drop at any moment here, Rick.
Yeah, this flashing light situation could make the show a little bit more exciting. So I'm looking forward to what the show brings.
This is when you do it live. We're rolling the dice here every week.
100%. Again, just a reminder, we are not professional at this, and we are not even getting better.
We are not. We might actually be getting worse. It's like when you do this, and I do it from home most of the time, either the kids are going to cut the internet or pull my bandwidth playing the video games. They're home today, or, a hurricane comes through and blows your power out. Who knows?
No, we appreciate it's a live show. If you are viewing us, tell us where you're viewing from. And so we will definitely highlight you, Miles.
Miles, so sorry.
He's always here. There's some flooding in the UK too. We are sorry about that, and our heart goes out to you.
Yeah. It's crazy weather patterns happening all over.
It's nuts. For us, there's no hurricane in New York City, but it seems like we've been bombarded with hand, foot, and mouth in our household this week. So it's rough o'clock for our little one.
Oh man, that is the worst because there's really nothing you can do, and they just like are in pain and crying, and you give them a little
modern medicine. Wait it out.
Yeah, exactly. Thank
you, doctor.
Run its course. That's what we got to do. Well, thank you guys for being with us. We love having you here. Like Rick said, let us know if there are questions, comments. You guys always have good fodder for us. We also want to recognize VTEX for sponsoring the show. Thank you to VTEX. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't bring you the gems of the stories that we're going to talk through today. If they're an 80s TV show, they'd be MacGyver, resourceful, healthy, ingenuity, and just the right amount of swagger. And VTEX has been doing a lot we had Jordan on to talk through like their analytics and how they're helping evaluate cost to serve. Rick, any news on how that's going?
No, I think, it's interesting. You mentioned MacGyver. I would also put the A-Team in there because, the A-Team is fun from an 80s show reference. No, but we love the whole team there, from Mariano to Andrew to Jordan to Daniela. So shout out to that team. We're excited to be able to kind of talk through a list of headlines today. And it seems like the world keeps getting crazier.
It does. And if AI mentions were on your bingo card for today, just like we talk about Temu and Shein, you are going to want to stay in for these stories because we've got some heavy hitters. And the first we're going to start with, in Rick Watson's famous words, your margin is their opportunity. Yes, we're talking about Amazon, and not to be outdone or left in the cold of ad generation. Amazon launched some AI tools last year, and they're just kicking it up a notch. And I figured instead of talking about it, Rick, it's better to just show you. So Vinny's going to queue up this latest drop and announcements on Amazon giveth and they taketh.
Yeah. So as we're pulling that up, look, there is a lot to the algorithm here, and Amazon is trying to make it easier for people to buy video ads. And so here's where that comes.
Yeah. Do you think that mug set came from Alibaba, straight to a prime warehouse near you?
Alibaba would be the high-end version of these mugs. Now the mugs are by the ocean. We're in the forest. They're at a picnic.
Look how happy she is. just created ads like that in a snap.
I
So
mean,
we talked about the TikTok AI stories and AI generated ads, and they had avatars. Like, compare this rollout to that, Rick. Which was better? Which gets you more excited, innovative?
uh, look, I think Amazon right now continues to be in a little bit in the JV league of their AI efforts because I think OpenAI and others like Google, Microsoft seem to be ahead of them. If all they could do is put little steam coming out of a mug and putting it
Classy.
in a forest, how is that gonna? First of all, how is that gonna help me sell a mug? Not clear at all. Second is I could see what they're trying to do, like video sales. I have seen one of the things I've seen on Amazon recently in the app, which is interesting, is kind of the video at the top during the search scroll. And so
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
see videos run even if they're animated GIFs sometimes. And so you're kind of, it's a little bit of a TikTok like experience through some searches on Amazon. I think that's going to keep increasing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Look, I mean, Amazon did pull 12 billion in their ad revenue last quarter, so
Hmm.
it's not like they're hurting for revenue. I think it'll be interesting to see how big of a splash this makes, but it all is a play to get more of those upper funnel dollars that keep that cash cow pumping, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anything that helps Amazon get more ads. They're one of the fastest growing ad businesses as well, and so content creation continues to be a blocker for many brands. The
Yeah.
problem is the content any good?
Right. Well, remains to be seen. I think we'll see if how many more mugs you sell with the Steam coming up.
Yeah.
If you're buying
No,
buying what they're selling. All
no.
right.
So
Well, hit us with
that's an
the
interesting
next.
one.
Yeah, hit us with the next story.
Yeah. Next story is the Kroger Albertsons merger. There's been some testimony in Washington regarding the trial. This is a $25 billion deal that the FTC has opposed, and it's clear that what's happening is they're trying to increase their competition compared to Walmart, which is the biggest grocer in the United States. Um, and so it seems like this deal, usually what happens with deals is the longer they drag on, the less likely they are to happen. And so the fact is, if this would have happened quickly and kind of gone through, you would have seen kind of another big grocery player with Kroger and Albertsons combine someone maybe with the heft to sort of challenge Walmart. Now we're in a situation where Walmart is kind of the undisputed leader. Kroger is wondering, am I going to have these resources? Albertsons is, smaller than Kroger. So, um, meanwhile, you have the FTC that could be working on Temu and Shein. They're kind of
Right.
getting a free hall pass right now. And so it's not it's not clear what's happening next.
Right. I mean, and it's like in the world of conglomerate defense, is this really where we need to be spending our time? I thought it was interesting, since some of the testimony, the feedback from Albertson CEO was like, look, I'm not losing business to Kroger. Like, you shouldn't be worried here. I'm losing to Costco. I'm losing to Walmart. Like,
Right.
this deal needs to effectively happen in order for us to remain relevant. Are you buying that argument?
Um, Look, I mean, I think there are not that many truly nationwide grocers, and I think this merger would create another one, and that could create more competition. In other grocery news, you saw that Amazon Fresh in the last
Hmm.
2 weeks has passed 50 stores, which,
Yeah.
given they were at like 2 stores for so long,
Yeah.
it seems like that's been a pretty big jump. I haven't walked into one of them recently. They opened one on the Upper East Side of Manhattan that I haven't it's too far to go across the park. Come on, you know how New Yorkers are.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
No
and,
dice.
so the grocery, competition continues to be, uh hard to come by for Walmart, and I think that gives them an advantage not only in their grocery business but also for the rest of their retail business because it'll keep consumers coming back to them.
Yeah, it keeps them coming in. Look, they keep prices low on the grocery side. They get the rest of the one-stop shopping, and people pick up that nice little T-shirt. Maybe a pack of socks, maybe a pack of tube socks
Exactly.
on the way
No,
out.
it's
So
exciting. Now, speaking of picking up other things, it seems like it's been rough o'clock in the Starbucks team, and that's kind of our next story. Why don't you take us through that, Jess?
yeah, it is a bit rough o'clock. I think Brian Nickel came in initially with some good fanfare, but that's waning as there's uncertainty of like what's actually going to change. He wrote this beautiful love letter,
It
hearts
was
out
horrible.
to the
It was
people
so
of like
bad.
it was just it had so much heart and love in it. It was founded
Right.
on a love for high quality coffee, Rick. We it's our heart. Coffee is our heart, literally the quotes. We're going to get back to Starbucks. We're going to focus on what set us apart. We're going to we serve the finest coffee. We're going to bring this coffee experience back. It's time for us to tell our story again so people know us. Like, this is not what's going to sell Starbucks and take them to the promised land. And kind of following this at the same time, I think Benny's got something we can flash up for you. There's all these memes going around with Brian Nichols' reputation of what he did at Chipotle, and like the burritos got smaller and like less dense with all your ingredients to help them shave off like points of margin. Is this essentially what's going to happen to your cup? And like, to make matters worse, I'm going to try to do this because this is the most complicated order you can make. Double ristretto venti, half soy, non-fat, decaf, organic chocolate, brownie ice vanilla, double shot gingerbread, frappuccino, extra hot with foam, whipped cream, upside down, double blended, one sweet and low, and one NutraSweet and light ice to-go skis. So there you have it. What's your take on this? Like, is Brian Nichols going to be the like white knight that brings Starbucks out of the ashes and back into the homes of every American, or where are we at?
Yeah, look, it's unclear because I think what happened while Starbucks has become this global chain and monster conglomerate is it kind of lost its soul, and that actually
Mm-hmm.
created space similar to like if you think about like where Barnes and Noble has done on his journey. It's like went from
Yeah.
like this boutique retailer into this mega
Right.
mall operation, and now they're kind of going back to their roots. It's kind of hard to put the genie back into the bottle and sort of reclaim your soul once you've sold it. The devil usually doesn't want to give it back.
Yeah. And I think this isn't necessarily like we're going to get back to who we are type problem. I mean, the mobile orders have like gone rampant and wild, and like, who is actually
Right.
going and sitting in a Starbucks anymore? It's like mobile essentially has taken over. And so, to your point, how do you put the genie back in that bottle? And I think that he's got more work cut out for him than just like, let's get our soul back.
Yeah. I think the kind of like the McCafe or the Cosmic concept is actually like just as good as the Starbucks because at least you know what you're getting. You're getting like this consistent experience, like fast mobile ordering. And
Yeah.
Starbucks is like you used to think about this sort of boutique situation, and now it has kind of degenerated into a McDonald's slash Dunkin' Donuts experience, especially in the mornings where you're like, you see this big board and like 30 people up there, and you're wondering like, why isn't my freaking order moving? Why is everyone else's orders moving? It
Yeah.
just creates grumpiness.
And chaos. Yeah. I think we have a comment like, I think Starbucks was ahead of the game, changed their cup size. They need to come up with something else. Totally agree. And it's not also, hey, we're going to bring pumpkin spice latte 2 weeks earlier. I mean, sure, that hits your boost, but like, we're not going to be in July and start hitting the PSL game, right?
No, it's you can only apply that for so long. And by the way, other retailers and grocery stores have it that PSL, the genie's out of that bottle too. So it's not like they have a secret Coke formula for PSL.
No, exactly. All right. Well, we will watch this story very closely and see if they're bringing the love back into Starbucks. In our AI stories, you've got another one that kind of rocked the world in the ecosystem this week, right?
Yeah, this one gets me fired up. OpenAI. I mean, if there's anything that is less ingenuous than a not-for-profit company who's meant here to save us and the
Mhm.
children, and now they've suddenly become a for-profit company. I mean, it's almost like Sam Altman had to make this really tough decision. Do I run a nonprofit corporation or do I take $10 billion? I mean, give me a
Mm.
break, people. I mean, first of all, can't trust this guy as far as I can throw him.
No.
And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, has he hit like a grifter status to you, or is he just disingenuous? Like, where are we at in this
uh,
journey?
look, I mean, I think Sam Altman, the guy is not like, first of all, he's kind of the figurehead of the corporation. Let's just be honest here. It's not like he is this AI researcher. If you look at his background, he founded an investment, he was head of Y Combinator. He was, I even had to remind myself of this. He was CEO of Reddit for 8 days in 2014, like
Oh,
when
wow.
Reddit had all that CEO drama. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I did, and now I forgot it, and so
yeah,
thank you for bringing it back.
exactly.
Yeah.
He was a Microsoft employee for 5 days during the ouster. And and the ouster was last November 17 through 21. Since then, let me just go through the list of people that have abandoned Sam Altman. Can I just
Okay.
run down them for them? And
Are we
many of
gonna
them,
play it in
like,
memoriam?
we should, like, again, there should be, like, banjo music or something, like, so,
Yeah.
like, board members, Helen Toner, Sasha McCauley, these are both board members that have resigned since Sam Altman has been on. By the way, the only 2 women board members, and if you've seen
Mm,
that, like, Bill Gates Netflix documentary, almost all the people, like, he's, like, huge, big on
yeah.
OpenAI. Half of the people
Yeah.
in that documentary, they gone.
They're
Um,
out.
and
Deuces.
so it's just been the last couple of months. Meanwhile, Ilya Sutskever, co-founder and chief scientist, resigned. Andrei Karpov, co-founder, research scientist, resigned. Greg
Mm,
Brockman, co-founder, president, on leave. Jan Leakey, Mira Murati, CTO, resigned. Chief research officer, VP of research, gone. Peter Deng, VP of product, like, you can just, like, keep going on for all the people that are just not part, like, so there's just, like, so much smoke here, first of all.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
second is, like, Sam is going around the world saying he's gonna raise $1 trillion. Uh, he's not running an AI company, like, he's out raising money. That's what he's
Yeah.
doing. And so everyone's back at home, basically resigning and going to found other AI startups because, like, who needs all this drama?
Yeah, missions are not aligned is very clear, and I loved his comment in the Wall Street Journal article. It said leadership changes are natural part of companies, especially companies that grow quickly and are so demanding. I obviously won't pretend it's natural for this one to be so abrupt, but we're not a normal company. Is
That
that
says a
really
lot.
true? Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's kind of like
yeah, it's not a normal company. And I guess at this point, look, uh, for those who don't remember, OpenAI was kind of a vision of 4 people that were co-founders, and obviously there are a lot of AI-based co-founders, but who set up this sort of nonprofit structure. Elon
right, right.
Musk is on that
Yeah,
list, and now he's like a pretty vocal detractor of
yep,
and starting his own AI company. Elon Musk, Jessica Livingston, Peter Thiel, and Sam Altman. I mean, again, that list of people, those 4 people are not the AI brain power
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
They're just the ones who set up the idea that we don't want Skynet, and
right.
we don't want Terminator knocking on our doorstep. And so, I actually think, I don't know, Vinny, you will tell me if we have a live stream of the OpenAI offices. We can show that up on the screen if you have it. But meanwhile, I mean, will the last person there turn out the lights?
It might be.
Oh, there's a tumbleweed rolling through. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
There it
OpenAI
goes.
offices. So
There it goes.
that's kind of that's kind of where we are.
Yeah,
So
it's
um
either that or you're having the guy from I forget the guy's name at Office Space who just basically like lit it on fire and burned it to the ground after he
yes.
walked out with his paycheck.
Yeah, he got
Uh,
fired. But look, you have to give some credit to the OpenAI company. Unclear how much credit Sam gets for that as the CEO. Some, but the fastest adopted SaaS product, one of the biggest AI breakthroughs
yeah,
was the sort of the generative AI revolution. Not necessarily that they invented AI or anything, but they definitely sort of kickstarted a lot of this in hypergear. I also like to say they kind of like saved the VC industry after the whole blockchain Web3 debacle that no one likes to
right.
talk about anymore. Like, oh, don't look over here. The last thing we said was going to be the next big thing. This is the new thing. Thank you, Sam, for coming up with this for us.
Thanks for saving us and
Right.
all the pain and egg on face
Exactly.
from that situation. Yeah,
So
it'll be
that's
interesting.
OpenAI, and I think there's look, the safest thing you're going to see is that there's more drama to be had. And look, what are the paths forward? He rehires a management team, or we just does the inevitable, which is like Microsoft goes ahead and acqui-hires them, like the last
Take that.
time.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was not CEO for 5 days.
Right. Right. Yeah, they take it. I guess my last question is which network will pick up this inevitable not mockumentary, but essentially a take on it? Will it be HBO Max, Apple TV, Hulu? Who gets Netflix? Who gets the bid and gets to tell the story? It'll be fun to see that
Uh
play out.
yeah, for sure. I think Hulu has done a good job of picking up some of these. So yeah,
Yeah.
my bet's on Hulu.
We'll give it to Hulu. All
Yeah.
right. Definitely not Lifetime. All right. So now we're hitting up one that this solely is just for our producer who wanted to pour one out for the last standing Kmart. Because in 2000, Vinny, if you guys don't know, who's our producer, went to live in the Hamptons with 8 of his friends. 3 were closed, 4 were not. A 20-year-old, he was flush, had no job. Within 2 weeks, he did get a job. All the money was gone. He drank it all away unwittingly. They're in a Kmart in Bridgehampton. Just got a job, needed a bike. He had no money. Went to the nearest payphone. He stole his plight via Western Union. Received 5,000 and or 500. Sorry, and the rest is history. Not many Kmart's will have such a nostalgic story, but this closure weighs heavily on his heart. So that was our Kmart story. It's sad to see it go. Was really adding no value in the ecosystem of retail. Probably to be the next future of our friends at Big Lots, who are also, we talked about, on the struggle bus of bankruptcy.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, there's not the same love for Kmart as there is Blockbuster. So we couldn't even keep one of those alive.
I know. I mean, I think is there one Blockbuster still alive? I think there might
Yes, there's
be
one.
in
No,
Bend,
there's one.
Oregon or some place like
Yeah,
that.
there's one, and it's like a tourist destination now. Like, they have it
Yeah.
set up, and you can, like, come in, and there's the popcorn, and you can see what it used to look like, and they sell merch. It's, like, more nostalgic, but yeah, it's
Yeah. I think they're gonna
fun for
turn
them to
Kmart
keep.
into a theme park, and then it's gonna be kind of like one like lonely blinking blue light.
Yeah. Oh, that's that. Or it could be like it's like your next trampoline park where
Oh yeah.
you can pick up hand, foot, and mouth or any other type of
Ooh,
germs you
that
want to
one
get.
too soon, Jess. Too
Sorry.
soon.
Too soon for you. All right. So I think you got another one. What's happening in the Stripe land?
Yeah, next one in the Stripe world. I mean, Stripe has been releasing some of their financial performance recently in 2022 and 2023 that passed over $1 trillion in payment volume, which is a huge number. And basically they're increasing that 25% year over year, and they're releasing information to the community. Look, Stripe is kind of an interesting story. This is a company that obviously should have IPO'd 4 years ago, but there's
Yeah.
so much private money in the business, and existing investors have gotten to cash out, and particularly
Right.
older investors, but the newer employees, they're just kind of sitting on their hands like,
Mm.
is our stock going to be worth
Is
anything
this
when
where's
it
the
when it
promise?
comes out? Like, yeah, where's the promised land here? Um,
Yeah.
and I think it kind of dovetails with another story I saw this week on like CNBC and Wall Street, which is that the CEO of Apollo Global, which is one of the biggest private equity funds in the world, they said in 10 years there'll be essentially no difference between private companies and public companies. And so I think that's an interesting discussion on its own. Like, when is the right time to go public? I mean, I
Yeah.
remember back 20 years ago when like Demandware went public, and then, like,
Mhm.
companies would go public with $25 million in revenue,
Yeah.
$50 million in revenue, no problem. I mean, Stripe definitely has probably over $1 billion
They have the
in
profile.
revenue.
Yeah.
And they have the profile to do it. The fact that they're still staying private is, uh, it's kind of, I don't know if it's an embarrassment on the stock
Mm.
market or something, but it's definitely a sign of the times, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like who wants to be public in this market, right? It's a hassle. It costs more essentially,
Mhm.
more strain on the business, and you always have to weigh that. Are you ready to get up and talk about not only what's happening in the quarter, but what's happening ahead? And to me, it signals that there's more they have in store that they're not ready to talk about and
Mm.
reveal because you can't just you have to disclose things, right? And there's more visibility on your company, and then you also can run into this rut of starting to live quarter to quarter because you're
Mm.
basically just like getting to the next quarter, getting to the next earnings. Maybe they're just not ready to go there, and it feels like they've got some bigger things in play.
Yeah, it's not clear. I mean, I don't, going public in an election year, probably not the best thing. They could go public next year. They can go public the year after that. I think a lot of employees are just wondering what's next. Shopify is a big investor, obviously, and Booster and Stripe. That could be a big payout for Shopify when that happens.
Yeah. And do you think the leadership is good at Stripe?
Look, I mean, universally, the Collison brothers they seem to be universally liked in the community, and they've done a good job building the company. No one will, I think, deny the vision that
Yeah.
has produced such a large company. And it came out with such a simple idea, which is like
Mhm.
one line of code on your website, you should be able to do payments.
Yeah.
The reality is, um, Stripe has had a couple of problems. Number one is like similar to like Shopify initially, um, not anymore because Shopify has a lot of the street cred now because it's public. A lot of people still don't know who Stripe is, and they're not a big public facing brand.
Yeah.
Like a PayPal, for instance. I mean, they power so many payments, but most people wouldn't know Stripe like they know a
Yeah.
PayPal, and so they've failed to develop a sort of a public facing brand. Stripe in the last couple of years has developed a link product, which is essentially a way to take payments on a website that's
Yeah.
not through like Shop Pay, and so there's like, I would say that there's not like competition with Shop Pay, but they're trying to create a public facing brand here as well. And um, it's not clear if going public would help them or hurt them. I think most companies now feel like if you're in growth mode, just don't go public.
Yeah.
And
What's the
which is
point?
kind of a sad testament to the market a little bit, because if you look at, Amazon's journey, they went public, very, pretty early in their career, and most of the value was created after they went public. And I think
Right.
Sarbanes-Oxley and then the Great Recession and like free money in the private markets for 10 plus years really kind of changed the IPO landscape.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. And going back to this, when you talk about growth mode versus stealth mode, profitability, you're when if you want to like leverage your cash to essentially get to where you're trying to go, you shouldn't
Mhm.
go public because
Right.
it's all about what your bottom line, what's your EBITDA, And you remember like what, 18 months ago when Amazon was under so much pressure about their profitability. We're not in an age in public markets where you get the hall pass and you can be unprofitable on the promise of future gains anymore. And that really is the biggest, like, I think, change in the dynamics is profits are king, margin is king. And if you've got any other plans of how you want to invest your cash and make the balance sheet look a little worse while you're trying to get to where you're going, who wants that scrutiny? So
yeah, it's not clear who does. And I think that's a good kind of wrap up to the story. I think we have one more. Yeah. So why don't you intro that for us, Jess?
Yeah, we got one more to close out here, which is it's kind of surprising when you see the Zon, which we've had a couple little mentions here. So of what's going on in the Zon's world, but they actually paid taxes in the UK for the first time in 4 years. To the tune of to the tune of 18.7 million on its $27 billion of sales. Do that math. And it's supposedly like largely a corporation tax. They were given credits in 7.8 million in 2022, as well as 1.1 million credit the year before. But they also added, look, like we invested 12 billion across the UK in 2023 alone. 10 billion benefit to the UK GDP. We're one of the top 5 capital investors in the country, top 10 contributor to the business rates. Like, we are making the UK world a better place by being here. You buying what they're selling?
You can almost hear the sound in the background. Like,
please don't. It's almost like there wouldn't be the in memoriam music. There would be the like hype, hopeful music that's beautiful because they're just changing and transforming the world, one brown shipment at a time.
Yeah, I mean, Edward Scott Finnegan said, "I'd buy that for $1." I mean, I think what you have from this time is, why does such a corporation pay 10 times less the effective tax rate than either you or I on a percentage basis? It doesn't make any sense at all. Yet the fact that they're still like, how much money they've, quote, invested in these countries, it sounds like a bribe. Just saying.
Not so much. It's kind of like, when they had New York or New Jersey and North Carolina fighting over the next Amazon headquarters. And, basically it was like, you can just be here for free, and your employees, guess what? We're just going to like give them some extra incentives and, so I think New Jersey ended up getting it, and they like basically did nothing there. At the end of the day. So it's pretty interesting. I think in Amazon's world, probably the only people they will let work from home because they want them to go are their like corporate tax attorneys, their compliance and legal department that can help them keep manipulating the rates here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, again, I'm surprised at this story. And Miles says UK tax double Dutch with an Irish sandwich, probably, because you can't get anything out of Amazon and you can't pry any money from them. So it'll be interesting to see in the US. There's a big focus on de minimis. Are Shein and Temu going to, is that going to be introduced? And even you have folks like Amazon, like adopting the model at the same time it should be taxed and like keeping all these other companies out. And so what's clear is like once Amazon gone through the barn door, they want to close it behind themselves. And so it's good to see them paying at least a little bit of taxes. Warms their soul a little bit.
There, it's coming to them slowly but surely. We'll see. Yeah. But again, they'll be all right. I'm not too worried. Well, Miles, thank you for bringing us home. Any final words, Rick?
No, I mean, the news comes hot and heavy, so we're excited to bring you this episode and just give our take on the market. Thank you for following us today. We are looking forward to.
We're here for you. We're gonna close it out with a dance party.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, everybody.